Hi, hope everything is going well. First of all, I do want to apologize for yesterday. I thought I was in a really good area for VPN, and I certainly was not. So it was a very difficult, challenging time to stay on to the meeting. So I'm very sorry about that. But I do want to show you what I was trying to show you. The first thing I do want to go over is the salary allocations because you were wanting to do that automatically and then have that changed in the time entry grid if you need to. So that way you can have it all set up for percentages and you don't have to worry about hours and breaking all of that up. You can certainly do that by percentage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing my screen so you can see what I'm referring to. So over here, you can see that I am on the main dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Emily's profile, who has several different allocations rather, associated with her work. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into her profile from here. I'm just going to start typing Emily, and I can see her profile right here. So I'm going to go into that. And how I did those allocations was I went into labor groups. So here's everything related to her profile, her tax information, her bank information, all of that. Anytime you want to change allocations, you're just going to click on labor groups. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the different allocations over here by percentage. Now it gives you 4 different options. This area right here, I named locations, but you do not have to name this that. You can name this grants. Okay, so you're wanting grant allocation. So if I change that, we're going to come back to this profile and show you how that changes. This title changes based on what I changed this title to. So I am going to go into my company profile. When I go into company profile, I'm going to go into address and my labor groups. Okay, so in my labor groups, you can see projects is right here underneath that. But if you go down here, these are work locations. These are tax locations in terms of locations. And then here are my departments. You can call these departments whatever you want. They don't need to be traditional departments like I have here. You can name those whatever you want. And then here are your positions. Again, you can name these positions whatever you want. All right, so I put down several instances here of positions, and then here's where I called this area locations. This, because you do grant allocations, I would call this grants or grant. And then that way, when they go to choose the grant in their profile, they will be able to see that allocation in there. And they will also, you'll be able to see that on the payroll grid. So now I'm going to go back to Emily's profile. Okay. And then when I go to her labor groups, when I scroll down to the bottom, you will now see that that says grant. Now, if I want to change up this allocation here, I have 4 different allocations by percentage. If I want to change that, I'm just going to choose make changes. When I do that, it's going to ask me, do I want one that's already happened, a change that's already happened in the past? Do I want an immediate change, which is obviously today, or a schedule change? So this is really nice if you want to schedule something to happen, you don't want to have to remember. So let's say in May 1st, she's going to change that. So we're going to go ahead and do a schedule change. We're going to go ahead and make that May 1st. We're going to go ahead and change that allocation. So now I'm going to go ahead and choose continue. It's just a simple walkthrough. I'm not changing her salary. So I'm going to skip this area and I'm going to go next to my labor groups. So when I go down to labor groups, as you can see, these are all edited now. All right, editable rather. So I'm going to go ahead and change this and I'm going to get rid of these currently. And then I'm going to add another allocation. So here I might not need department. So I'm going to take this away. I'm just going to put select option. And then I'm going to choose that one. And I'm just going to choose a grant I want this to be allocated to. So I'm going to call this DOD grant. I'm going to do that at 40. Okay. And then I'm going to do 60% to, I believe I have a Florida grant that she is also, yep, I do. So I'm going to do 40/60. Now that I have made that change, you do have the ability to put position in here or a department, but I am just doing labor allocations associated with grants. So I'm just going to choose that labor group. Okay. So I'm going to go down here. None of this changes. Do continue. And then it will take you to, hang on one second, the server has to catch up just a little bit because this is a demo account. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and choose something else. There we go. Do continue. Now we'll grab that. Sorry about that. Hang on one second. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. We're going to go back a page and then let that go. My demo account sometimes does this. The live accounts do not do this. So I just want to make sure. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to, well, I'll just delete these and I can make that allocation this way. And then it will tell you, you only have, like, see, I have 50%. So if I need to change this to 70%, we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay. Now I'm going to do continue. And then it will save. So typically it doesn't have that, but sometimes my demo account has a hard time with making those changes, but the live accounts are very nice and easy. So now I'm going to go ahead and keep this the same. And then it's going to say, do you want to notify anybody here? I'm just going to give the reason for the changed allocation. Actually, I'm going to say grant allocation. Okay, and then you can choose a letter if you want to, but in this instance, I'm not going to because it's a fake employee. And then it's going to give you what your changes are right here. So here I changed this to 70/30, and I'm going to confirm that this is good. And then we're done. So now when we go into the payroll grid, I'm going to go into payroll. Now remember, this isn't happening until May 1st. So it's going to be her old allocation. But if you go if you did like an immediate change, which means today, and you changed it, you can go into payroll still, click on the individual, and then just hit this reset pay stub. That's going to pick up that immediate change that you already entered, and it will change those allocations as of today if you chose a today. Now you can see right here, I still have it in the old because this isn't taking effect until May 1st. Okay, so here are the allocations. It's already broken out right here. Now, if I want to change anything, maybe I don't want this allocation this time, I'm going to just choose edit labor group. I'm going to choose the labor group I want this to go to, and I'm going to choose a position as well. You can do that in here too. And I'm going to change that project code to admin work, and then my grant. I'm going to give this to a grant and just do save, and then it will save that. Okay, so that's how you can change it in the grid. So even though you have it set up in the profile by percentage, you can always change that in the grid once you open up payroll. Then I'm going to do save and close, and it will go ahead and grab those changes for you. So once we do this, now I'm going to go ahead and do finish edit. When I go to finish edit, it's going to take me to my approval screen. So now remember, I'm doing a salaried payroll. So I didn't even go into time and attendance because all of my allocations are done by percentage. I don't need to use time and attendance. And then that way you can change these people to salaried and not have to worry about doing an hourly setup when they're really salary. So this way they'll be compliant in terms of their pay type. So here we're going to go into here. We're going to go and make this approved, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to download my register to make sure that everything is okay. So I'm going to download my register here, and I am going to populate that on this screen, but it does open up on my other screen. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that over. And here is our payroll register, and I'll be able to see Emily Anders' check, all of the different rates of pay that she was paid. And then it goes through all of the taxes and everything like that. So there is your payroll register. Now, after I choose approve run, this will take it to an approved pending payment status. And it's going to show us that where it is. And that's going to be on our pay runs tab. So our pay runs tab houses all of our draft payrolls, our approved pending payment payrolls, meaning it's approved, just that it hasn't hit the bank accounts yet. And then the paid. So as it's paid, it goes down here. This is the payroll that I just approved. Up here, you'll see drafts. This is where all of your drafts are going to be. Just remember, this is on the pay runs tab in payroll. If I want to pull this payroll back for any reason, I'm going to go ahead and choose revert to draft, in which case it will give me the deadline that I have, the deadline date, so I don't miss my check date. So in this instance, it's April 9th. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I do have to do that today by 5 p.m. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just confirm. Now that I've asked to pull that back, it's going to pull this payroll back into editable status, which means it will now be where? It will be in my draft bucket on my pay runs tab. So now that it is reverted back to draft, I can go into the pay runs tab, and that April 15th pay run will be right back up there in draft. There it is. Okay. So, also too, so if you ever do, have hourly people, you can, just so you know, you don't have to, you can wrap it up into one payroll, or you can split your payroll into a salary run and an hourly run, and they can be two different pay frequencies. That's an option that's available to you. But I did want to show you how that salary allocation works. And then for our time and attendance, I'll just briefly touch on that as well. If you do ever have hourly people, they can also clock in, clock out from this vantage point. And then when you go into pay periods, you can also do allocations and require them to do allocations. So for Allison, when she's clocking in and out, she is clocking in and out, and I have positions and grants turned on for her as well. So when she's doing that, it walks her through these two different areas that she has to choose before it officially clocks her in. So she can't overlook that. The system will say, hey, you need to choose these things because we turned it on in your profile. So you can also add on two other allocations, just like I showed you on that salary person. So you can add project here and department. So that is what I was going to show you. If you do want to set up another demo, please feel free to let me know or let Joe know, and I'd be happy to join again. But again, my apologies on the terrible connection I had yesterday. Typically it's like this, no issues, but yesterday was a very odd day, and I wasn't on my usual Wi-Fi. So all right, have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, just let me know. Have a good day. Bye-bye.